اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي رب زدني علما. Okay, assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you're all doing well. So inshallah we're going to continue with our lessons. So the topic we're going to cover now is Quran. So if you can put the title Quran as Quran and Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So if you want to put Quran as the title and subtitle, you can put on as Bismillah. So whilst you do that, so inshallah as we continue with the theme of Quran, the next thing is what you find is Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So this is something that we read at the beginning of every surahs. Now scholars do differ whether Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is part of the Quran. So if you look at the Quran, there's 114 surahs there, and at the beginning of 113 surahs you'll find there's Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, except for one, which is Surah Tawbah, and that's because some say it's a continuation from the previous surah. Some say because of the linguistic aspect of the surah, right? It cannot begin with Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. However, there is another Bismillah in a different chapter of the surah anyway. So in the Quran, all in all, there are 114 Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The thing that concerns us is at the beginning of the surahs, like I said, right, you'll find that beginning of 113 out of 114 surahs in the Quran, you'll find that it has Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Imam Shafi that Bismillah is part of the surah, whereas Imam Abu Hanifa, which is the Imam that we follow in terms of how we practice our religion, and many of the majority of the scholars as well, they say that Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is not part of the surah. It's just like an introduction for the next surah basically. So it's there to break it down, to separate the surahs from one to the other, and as a form of introduction. So that's why Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is there for. One of the virtues of saying Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim is mentioned that if you say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, or especially in the evening, and you if you have utensils and food and stuff like that, it's good to say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim and cover the utensil leaves like food or anything like that. It's good to have it's good to cover the food, especially before you go to sleep, because it's mentioned that if you leave the lid open of any utensil with food or drink inside it, then shayateen will come and consume it or will foul the food, and you will lose out barakah, or you could end up with falling ill as well. And also it's good to cover the food as well. Alhamdulillah, we live in UK and in a certain part of the world where we don't have to worry about insects and other creatures which could fall in there and poison the food, but that's something that we should be wary of, or flies or something like that. So it's good to say Bismillah Rahmanir Rahim over the food and then cover it. Now the word ba at the beginning of the word, right, Bismillah at the beginning, scholars have given it's got two meanings to it, the word bi. Okay, one meaning is it's like you're seeking help or aid basically, or you're indicating towards something, and the other meaning is you're seeking blessings, tabarruk, before an action. And ism, the name of Allah is a name, and Bismillah, and then you're using help or aid of Allah, or you're seeking blessings or tabarruk in the name of Allah. So that's what the word Bismillah means. It's like you're seeking help or aid from Allah, or you're seeking blessings or tabarruk or from in the name of Allah. That's what it means. And mentioning the name of Allah, it brings great blessings. So it's good to use before any good actions or anything you're doing. So anything good you're doing, you should always mention the name of Allah, Bismillah. Okay, like for instance, before eating, before drinking, or anything. I mean, every actions in the Sunnah you'll find, or in the books of in the Gift for Muslims, you'll find that there are some specific certain du'as for different actions, but you can say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim for anything, like before wudu as well, before putting on clothes, before getting in the car, before entering your home, before reading Quran, or going to for instance your test or something like that, even before any sports or games or anything like that, before doing any kind of good things, the good actions, it's good habit to get into say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, because you're seeking help in the name of Allah, a blessing in the name of Allah, and also you're remembering Allah as well, which is a great thing to 2. Then it's Ar-Rahman. Okay, Ar-Rahman is an attribute or name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it means Ar-Rahman is the one who is very kind. Now, and then it's Ar-Rahim. So Ar-Rahman and Rahim, it sounds very similar in terms of the letters are very similar, but they have a different meanings to it. So Ar-Rahman is like a mercy. It's a mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that is for all creation. So it's an attribute of Allah that's there for all creation, whether Muslim, non-Muslim, animals, humans, everything. So that's like, for instance, the fact that we exist, or the fact that we are able to breathe the water, the air, oxygen and everything. These are all blessings from Allah, and those blessings are for everyone. Like I said, whether Muslim, non-Muslim, humans or animals. Then there's Rahim, which is and that's a special form of mercy or compassion, and that's for the believers. And it's mentioned in the Quran as well that it's mentioned that and he was to believers Rahima. Okay, so in the Quran it mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was to the believers he was Rahima, and then so that's something. Okay, so the Rahman, the mercy or the compassion is for everything and everyone. And the Rahim, the mercy or the compassion is for the believers. So an example of Rahman, I gave you, like for instance, general blessing like life, body and everything. Whereas Rahim is it's a subtle blessing that we're not aware of basically. It's a specific blessing for the Muslim that we experience. For instance, we are able to do worship, we believe in Allah, we thank Allah, we're grateful to Allah, we show sabr, we do good deeds, we do good actions. All this is a great blessing. None of this can happen by our own means. It's Allah has to. Allah. Remember what I mentioned before in the Aqidah, that everything we do, we're able to do it because Allah wills or Allah enables us to do that action. Our part is in the part of intention, whether we intend to do something good or intend to do something bad. Whether if you intend to do something good, right, then Allah allows us to lift our hand, give sadaqah, or Allah allows us to move our tongue and do zikr. Allah allows us to stand up and pray. All these things will not be able to occur if Allah SWT did not allow it to happen. For instance, if even if you want to do like cut something, like to make food, to cut a fruit or something like that, you pick up a knife. The knife itself cannot cut something. Okay, it's Allah allows the cutting part to take place. Otherwise, the knife won't be able to do that. Even though it's sharp, we don't think about it in a deep sense, right? Because remember the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, when he went to sacrifice his son Ismail, and then he got the knife, and then he was about to he placed it on his neck, and then he was about to cut it with the knife, and the knife became blunt. It would not cut. Why? Because Allah took away the ability for the knife to cut. And that's something mu'jiza. It's a karama basically. It's a miracle that was specific for that purpose. But it goes to show that knife itself cannot cut unless Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows it to cut. I mean, there is a natural law which is in place, and it is, again, Allah has put it. But if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants, right, that can be taken away, or something can become abnormal. And so that's something to take into consideration. So, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, this is something that you should get into the habit, especially when you are reading at the beginning of any new surahs. You say, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, before any surahs, short surahs or long surahs. You should be doing that, and you should get into the habit of saying Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim before any actions or anything like that as well. So, I will try to explain to you in English now. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim means, and the Rahman, Ha, remember, Ha is a bit more on the throat, okay? Ha and Rahim. No, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. It's like a soft Ha. It should be Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, okay? So try and get that, your pronunciation of the Rahman and Rahim. So it means in the name of Allah, the merciful, the compassionate. The merciful as in for the mercy that is for everything. The Rahman is for everything, believers, non-believers. And the Rahim is the compassion is for the believers, only subtle blessing that Allah gives us. So with that, I'm going to stop now with regards to Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So I'm going to give you guys a few seconds. So if you want to go to the next page, start a new page, and we're going to start our new